Welcome into the Bev Boys basketball broadcast, where we talk Bevs, basketball, and kind of anything else, really, just whatever pops into our mind here. My name is Nick, and joining me today is Tyler.
What's up?
And Alvin.
I just want to say that nothing else pops into my mind. It's just beverages and basketball, which is why that's all I talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of a curse, honestly. It's just like, if we could, we would think about other things, but unfortunately, it's these were the gifts or curses that we were given, the cards we were dealt, I guess you could say.
And I would love to be multifaceted.
Yeah, you got a couple facets.
For you, Nikhil also only talks about it, so you're good.
Oh, you right?
Yeah. What you're saying, Nikhil only talks about that too, or she talks about?
Yeah, all she cares about is basketball and beverages too.
Oh, so that's pretty good. Well, then you found your soulmate. Then you're good to go, man.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. So you got a couple facets going on. That's pretty good. At least two.
Thank you.
So speaking of those facets, let's get into the first one, which is, of course, beverages. I'm going to start with Alvin. What you got for us, son?
Okay. Well, I did it. Bubble milk tea, Taro flavored, Rico brand.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they're based out of Singapore. I don't really know. There's a lot of addresses on here. Taiwan, actually. So all these Taiwan heads might recognize it. Taro flavored bubble milk tea drink in a can. It looks like it's got the tapioca pearls inside of there. I'm just gonna open this up real quick. And
they're called pearls. That's news to me.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Tapioca pearls, baby.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
So
boom, there's the flavor.
Amen. So I haven't had boba in a really long time. I think since the pandemic started, honestly.
Dang.
Or like bubble tea. And I just haven't really had the occasion to do it. And I don't know why I haven't been getting these cans, because I'm feeling it pretty hard right now.
Do the pearls like fit through the opening of the can okay? Because I feel like that would, I've never seen that before in a can.
I have no idea. I think I should have shook this up beforehand.
Yeah.
Let me see if
I guess they fit through a straw, so it can't be.
Oh shit, I got
that much.
You gotta have
stuff all over the place.
Though.
Well, okay, so my first move is that I should have shaken this up beforehand. So just so you know. It's pretty good, man. I'm pretty content, even if there's no tapioca pearls in here.
Oh, there aren't
I'm
any
pretty happy.
Pearls.
I don't know. I'm not getting any. Maybe they're stuck to the bottom or something because I didn't shake it well enough. Anyways, I recommend it. It does what I want in a pinch. And that's about it. And that is sugar, milky, tasty.
Sugar, milky, tasty.
Thank you.
Tasty.
Sounds like a really good ad for boba. Sugar, milky, tasty. Boba.
That's the who does
drink
that?
now.
Oh, that's the
drink now.
That's the toaster strudel.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Toaster strudel.
Flaky, crumbly, toaster strudel.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, well, Alvin's sipping on some pearls over there. What you got for us, Tyler?
It's an oldie but a goodie, in my mind at least. A little vanilla Coke. Were you guys ever a fan?
Vanilla Coke was not my jam.
I loved it as a kid.
No.
It was like something different, you know?
Just tastes like there's more sugar.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in Tyler's mouth. I'm sorry.
It's creamier.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There are 70 grams of sugar in this.
Mother of pearl, dude. I was freaking out here. I was freaking out here because I saw 15 grams.
Well, I mean, it's a liter, right? Or no.
That's probably like half a liter.
750 milliliters. Yeah.
So like a can of Coke is like 50 grams of sugar. So I guess it's proportionate. But still, damn.
Is it worth it?
Tastes like childhood.
Oof. Yeah. I could never get on board with that. Like cream soda, vanilla flavored shit in soda, like any of that. It was never good to me. I did not get the appeal.
The cream like A&W root beer stuff I was actually pretty down with because it just didn't hit the back of my like tongue as hard, but I still got the bubbly, which I liked.
Interesting.
But
I like root beer floats though. That's like the only time cream is allowed to be commingled with my soda.
Yeah, there's only so much you can commingle with soda, and it's usually alcohol.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Well, I also brought an oldie but a goodie, and this is one that. So there are many. It comes in many flavors, and honestly, if you weren't with this specific one, then I don't really trust you as a person, honestly. And if you you only refer to the different flavors by their color, you don't ever actually say the actual flavor of it. So
interesting.
I'm going with the classic light blue Gatorade.
Yes.
You did not choose this specific flavor of Gatorade, you're suspect to me. Like that was just like, why would you choose any other one? There are some other good ones, but it's like if you have this as an option, then what are you doing? Like, real talk.
I'm gonna be honest. I like the red one.
Yeah, I'm with Alvin.
God,
red,
that's the
red
worst one.
Oh, no,
that's the worst
suck.
one.
I know.
Dude,
Red's
it's like
good,
this.
Dude.
This one, the dark blue one's okay. The yellow, like lemon lime one or whatever is really good. The red one was like my very last choice of any Gatorade.
No way. Red and dark blue,
baby.
Those are
that's
the two I always got.
Like that's.
Yeah.
What is the actual flavor on the light blue? What does it say?
Frost.
Glacier freeze.
Well, that helps. Yeah.
Glacier freeze.
All right.
That's funny.
I like the light green one also.
That one's not bad. Yeah. But yeah.
I actually, you know what? I think my favorite Gatorade flavor might be the dark blue one.
That one's like my second choice, I would say.
Dark blue's good.
Yeah.
Red then blue, for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go like red and then the lime cucumber or whatever that's called. Like the light green one.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the dark blue and then the light blue and then the orange one.
Man, that's crazy. Light blue is like nothing even comes close to this one.
I honestly can't remember the times I drank the light blue. I guess I'm suspect. I just never went
a little bit. I'm not quite sure how I feel about you guys right now.
I think it's a little bit suspect that y'all are saying suspect rather than sus. Maybe it's because we're old.
Sorry there.
I think it's honestly it's because I'm old. Like like I feel like sus is I'll say sus here and there, but I feel like that's
we're millennials, not Gen Zers. Okay?
Yeah, it's a Gen Zer thing.
That's a whole nother podcast, but that's
okay. I'll take that.
Yeah, if we're talking also continuing with the whole sugar content, this has
a lot of sugar,
34 grams.
So mine has the least amount of sugar.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I was kind of shocked. I thought it was like in the 20s, but it's 34.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's wild.
I keep saying it. I need to stop buying the sugary ones.
I try to avoid the sugary ones.
Yeah, it's bad
if I can.
Ugh.
Because
this is dessert right here. Like that's not a beverage. This is like a full-on dessert.
But what's crazy is that people will drink that like throughout the day.
Oh,
I can't. Bad. I can't. I've never been able to understand the soda like as a pick-me-up kind of thing because I just feel like crap. Like,
yeah,
I agree. So the one exception, I did this pretty long bike ride. It was like 97 miles and like 9,000 feet of climbing in northern Utah like 2 weekends ago. And mile like 80, I was just like cooked. I felt awful. I was hating everything. I had a Coke and then I was ready to go. I think in that situation where you just get sugar and then cold liquid.
Yeah, I mean that's
would
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like a Gatorade with the amount of sugar in it. This is meant for like something like what you were doing. You were like doing a pretty intense workout, and your body just needs something like that. But most people don't get that, and so they're just like sitting at their desk job, sipping on these all day, and not realizing like
sipping on sugar water.
yeah, and then they crash
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last that before that, I don't know the last time I've had soda. I just think soda is I don't know.
It's probably the like top 3 worst things you can put in your body, honestly. At least
Here's the question.
What's 2 and 1?
Meth is probably up there. And
I was gonna say motor oil. I mean, come on.
yeah, I mean something that would like automatic, like straight up
go
kill
straight
you
for it.
right away. Yeah, like that's kind of a separate tier, I feel like.
Okay.
Here's the question though. What do you think the beverage was that Chris Paul and Devin Booker were drinking in those bottles?
I was
And
literally
where can they get more of it? Because what's going on?
I was gonna use some kind of like sugar crash segue to talk about the playoffs, and you beat me to it. So well played.
Couldn't
But
help
yeah,
myself.
speaking of that, that was a hell of a game yesterday, game 4 of the NBA Finals. Milwaukee Bucks against the Phoenix Suns. Milwaukee Bucks came out on top. I want to see what are your guys' thoughts as we now have the series tied 2-2. I'll start with Alvin here.
Sorry, I got to the tapioca balls.
I saw you as I was saying that. I was like, oh shit.
Hopefully
He's got
the
a
mic's
mouthful
not
of
picking that up
balls.
because that's ridiculous. Anyways, it was Chris Paul like injured or something. He was like losing the ball in key moments when he shouldn't have been losing it.
Yeah, his
and
hand was loose.
Yeah, very loose. I don't particularly buy that like he's injured. I think he's just tired. I think that's all it is. The dude's like 35 or 36. Like, yeah, I think he's just tired. He's had to be more or less the number 2 scorer on the team after Devin Booker, who put up 40. He's the first player to put up 40 and get like 8 or 9 fouls. That was incredible.
Yeah, honestly, he got away with some gnarly. He got away with some gnarly foul calls.
That like, oh my gosh, if the Suns won that game, and that no call happened, that for me, frankly, that would have tainted the whole series. Like,
because that was an intentional foul. Like he intentionally fouled, and they still didn't call it.
Yeah, Tyler, I don't know if you had the chance to see this, but for people
I missed it.
Who love to hear people over audio describe videos, I'm going to describe the video. And basically what happened is that Devin Booker's coming up on the right, or Drew Holiday's coming up on the right side by the hoop on a fast break, and Devin Booker's right there. He goes up for a shot, and more or less, Devin Booker just kind of suffocates Drew Holiday, or suffocates that ball, and like destroys his shooting hand.
Yeah,
like very obviously,
it was not
like
clean.
A shooting foul. Yeah, absolutely not clean or anything like that.
It was an intentional foul.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And then fortunately Giannis, who like maybe he didn't put up 40 points, but he played great the entire night, had the wherewithal to like follow up that rebound and get the bucket. Like,
yeah.
Also, that was a great game.
That would have been Devin Booker's 6th foul. Like he would have fouled out.
I read about that. Yeah.
And he was the only thing keeping the Suns in it. Nobody else on the team was scoring at all. It was just Devin Booker out there keeping them alive. And with him
Devin Booker was
insane,
playing so well that entire night. And to be fair, like Chris Middleton did great too. We were due for a great Chris Middleton game.
I figured it was only a matter of time.
Props to him, man.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Love to see like a lesser known all-star on the big stage just crushing it.
Is he Eastern Conference Paul George?
No, I don't think so. I don't think his defense is good enough. Right.
Just in the, not necessarily like as a player comparison, but in the way that he like comes in and out of games. Like Like Paul George has a history in the playoffs of just like not showing up.
Not
like,
this year
when
though.
his team necessarily needs him.
He was great this year in the playoffs. He was consistently the guy when Kawhi Leonard was out.
Yeah, before that though, that first series or so, he was kind of still doing that where he'd show up here and there. But then as soon as Kawhi was out, he was awesome. But with Chris, I mean, yeah, I think in this instance you could probably say that because I think a lot of the time he is the determining factor of like if the Bucks win or not right now. Is like Giannis is going to do his thing. You don't really know what the hell to expect with Jrue Holiday offensively right now for whatever.
What is up with him, man? Jeez.
And
he's
Chris
doing
Middleton,
everything but
everything else
shots.
Is great. Yeah, everything else, but he
the
just
offense is what I mean. Just like
he can't make a shot to save his life. It's insane.
And he's averaging 20 a game usually. You know, it's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know what it is because his shots when they go up are like going far left or far right. Like there's something close. I don't know if he's just like not concentrating or something like that. Because I don't know. I give him the benefit of the doubt because there's some very key plays down the stretch that Jrue Holiday was a part of that like really turned the game in the Bucks' favor. So
yeah,
I'll give him that.
One crazy thing about Booker. Sorry, do you want to go?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the last thing, and this will relate to Booker. The Suns got to find a way to get more easy shots. Like they're shooting a lot of mid-range shots, and I think part of that's because they have to worry about Brook Lopez and Giannis. But like they've got to find a way just to get more shots off cuts or just more DeAndre Ayton pick and roll action, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think just they were missing Chris Paul big time in those games where, especially last night where he was playing like shit, like because he really was like the mastermind behind their offense. He was like the one that just kind of puts everything together. So if he can't even dribble the basketball, like their offense is kind of exposed pretty hard. And then it's up to just Devin Booker to get any shot he can.
Agreed.
Who's their backup point guard? It's
Campaign,
not Cam Johnson. That's right. I mean, he's been doing good, but yeah, he's no Chris Paul. If they had like Rondo as their backup, like another really good ball handler.
Playoff Rondo.
Playoff Rondo, baby.
Gotta have
Not so much this year. He didn't really do a ton. But.
No.
Campaign's been pretty good for them. He's been inconsistent this series, but he's been good for them. Just as like someone who changes the pace compared to Chris Paul, because Chris Paul is going to slow it down and be methodical, and Campaign's just going to push and push and push. And he might turn the ball over, but you take that for the injection of life into the offense, So
yeah, which is good for those young guys.
Yeah,
they can run, keep fast.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Speaking of getting some kind of, what did you say, Alvin?
Injection of life.
An injection of life. I feel like the Kings are at that point where they could really use some kind of injection of life in order to kind of flip the franchise.
Good job, Nick.
Thank you. I thought that was pretty good. And there have been some rumors going about in ways that they could, in fact, provide said injection of life. And so I want to bring it on over to Tyler because he's going to discuss some of those recent trade rumors and kind of see what we're thinking.
Rumors are flying. That time of year is almost here, and I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. This is the summer, boys. Something has to happen.
It has to.
Cue the Fleetwood Mac. We gotta have rumors of flying.
Oh wow, nice.
Yep. I'm cultured.
If we just lose Richaun again, like we lost Bogdan this summer, I'm just gonna quit. Who am I kidding? I'll never quit being a Kings fan. I don't know why.
You're cursed as
all right.
Glutton for punishment. That's who we are. Rename the podcast Gluttons for Punishment.
Actually not a bad.
I just hate myself apparently. And this is a great way to just indulge in the hatred.
It's like eating a Little Caesars pizza. You hate yourself, but it's like sometimes you just got to do it. You just
hurts so good.
It's kind of like a comfort thing for me. like a little bit of a coping, like I had a bad day.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna reach for a little C's.
That was always the dead giveaway sign of a rough day.
Eat some Little C's and
Yeah, if you
watch
walk
the
in with
Kings.
a box of Little Caesars, it's
Pass out.
no need to say, yeah, honestly.
Watch DeMarcus Cousins get another technical. Yeah.
Eat a slice every time DeMarcus Cousins like gets a technical and you run out of pizza halfway into the second quarter. Like shit. Yeah, or he scowls every time he scowls.
Every time he scowls, argues.
Every time
barks.
he scowls, it's scowl. Like,
oh boy.
Yeah.
Let's not go down that.
They did play together that one season, 2016.
I think so. Yeah.
Half of his rookie year was DeMarcus's last.
Yeah, and then he filled DeMarcus Cousins' shoes once Boogie got traded, since Scal was the guy at that point.
Hey, he had that 30-point game, so something.
He had one good game.
It's something.
And then Scott bought his jersey.
Yeah. Oh,
Are you serious?
Yeah, Scott. My buddy Scott has a Scalabicier jersey.
Yikes!
Shout out Scott Stevens. Nice job.
Ooh.
All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Let's thing.
Not go. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Last thing.
Scal's in the G League right now. He played with the Westchester Knicks.
No, well, at least
I'm sure he did.
Hey,
maybe he'll have a Hassan Whiteside comeback. You never know.
Maybe. I hope so.
Started with the Kings, goes to a lower league, comes back, becomes an all-star, gets a max contract. It could happen.
Yeah, probably won't, but
2 years away from being 2 years away. No, that was Bruno Caboclo.
Oh, yeah.
That was what the Raptors said about him. He's 2 years away from being.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's
too
talk
deep
about
into this
players
black
better.
hole. Yeah, we're trying to talk about an injection of life, not just a slow
the dregs
abject sadness, like abject despair.
Yeah, let's try to
All
liven
right.
up this future the Kings have here. Let's hear what you got.
So from the Sacramento Bees' very own Jason Anderson, he says, Sacramento, this is about Ben Simmons. Sacramento would probably be willing to offer a package that includes Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, and one or more future first-round picks. One league source recently told the Sacramento Bee the Kings would have to send a minimum of 3 first-round picks to the Sixers in a trade constructed on Hield and Bagley. Another source said the Sixers wouldn't be interested, unless Fox or Halliburton were included in the trade. But Hield's elite three-point shooting and Bagley's unrealized potential, LOL, could be appealing if a better deal doesn't materialize. A couple of thoughts on this. I don't think the Kings are going to be able to get Simmons, first of all. I just don't think we're going to have the best package. If we were to do it, I think we'd have to send Fox, and it doesn't sound like the Kings are going to do it.
That would
100%
probably be my final straw as a Kings fan. Is if they traded Fox for Ben Simmons, that might put me over the edge. It's that's it. I'm done with this organization, at least for the next 10 years.
I don't see that happening at all.
I don't think they ever would.
No,
I gotta think Hallie and Fox are pretty much untouchable at this point.
The only way I could conceivably be on board with it is if there was a very clear path for the Kings to trade for Miles Turner, like a Richaun Holmes and something kind of a trade for Turner to pair with Simmons. And then you have Hallie, Buddy, Barnes, Simmons, Turner. I'm kind of okay, maybe.
I'd be so mad.
Really?
I'm not trading Fox for Ben Simmons.
No way.
I'm just not doing that.
No. Yeah.
Even if the Pacers are on the phone saying, yes, you can have Turner for this package of Richaun Holmes.
I'm not convinced that Miles Turner is definitively better than Richaun Holmes, if I'm honest.
But the fit, right, of stretch 5 to pair with Simmons.
Here's
so
my
you have
thing
that pairing, and then you have shooters and Hallie, Buddy, and Barnes. Even that's no go.
No, because I just with Ben Simmons, I really don't like him. The talent's there, but everything else about him is just he's a kid who's had all of the talent in the world his entire life, and he's kind of just, I think, taking it for granted. And He's never really given that much of a shit. And he still doesn't give a shit to this point, as he's kind of, I feel like, made it very clear that he doesn't. And now multiple sources are coming out and saying he doesn't work. He doesn't care about anything. He's not the kind of guy who's going to try unless he's forced to, basically. And it's just like, yeah, if he develops a shot, well, when the hell is that going to happen? Because as of right now, with his lack of work ethic or like desire to do anything, I don't see that ever happening. So he's more or less like not really worth, if that's the case, trading that much shit for, unless all of a sudden he decides, hey, I'm going to be a completely different person inside and out, which is like, I just don't see that happening. Like even after, like right now, what's happening? Like you see him after the god awful performance he had in the playoffs, like he declines to go play for Team Australia, and then is seen in the UK, like at the, like, I can't remember what it was, some tennis match or some shit like that, just like big chillin', while like literally all the other players in the NBA are playing in for their national teams or working out or doing all this stuff. And like and I get you want to take a break, but like the optics of that, it's just like he shows time and time again that like he just doesn't really care enough. He's totally content to just be who he is. And I'm not gonna like give away Fox or anything even remotely close to that for him.
No, yeah, I hear you on that. I mean, I don't trust him as a leader. I don't trust him as someone to be an example for the other guys, to be like, this is how you work hard, this is how you win. I don't trust him on those. I mean, he's talented, obviously. He's a multi-time all-star. I think in a vacuum, there's some sense to it, but there's so many intangibles, like you're saying, Nick, that's just like, why break up Fox and Hallie? That's going to be such a great tandem.
Yeah.
Maybe we could move some other guys to get some better pieces around them, and that's probably a safer bet. So I hear you. I just wanted to play the devil's advocate for a little bit and see what your thoughts were. But I do Buddy and Bagley. The question is, how many first rounders do you give up? I don't know.
I'd be okay with two
protected firsts.
Yeah, I'd be okay.
That's what I would do.
The 9th pick, or do you give up 2022 and 2024 protected?
I think I'd rather do 2 future firsts and keep.
Yeah, I would do 2 future firsts.
That's what I offer too, for sure.
Yeah.
If they wanted the 21 first, I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I think we're at the point where we just need we need value contracts, and you get it through the draft.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Cool. That's the first rumor. The second one comes from Michael Soto from Hoops Hype. Talk about Nerlens Noel. He says multiple teams have free agent center Nerlens Noel on their radar, including the Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors. The Knicks also remain interested in re-signing Noel. I think if Richaun Holmes leaves, I'm fine with Noel being our guy. You could get him for cheap, maybe get him for the mid-level exception at most, which is like $9 million. That would be my guess. I think he's like a poor man's Richaun. He's still really skinny, but he's kind of like a similar player. So I'm like, fine. I'm fine with it. I'm not stoked necessarily, but
Nerlens Noel is not as good of a rebounder. He's not as good of a finisher. However, he is longer and is a better shot blocker and better at getting steals. I would try if I were GM to keep our guy Richaun Holmes as much as possible, but just because statistically speaking, he was easily top 3 player on the team. You could even say that he was the second best player on the team, and at times the best player on the team too. I think you got to keep him.
Yeah,
this is more of a backup plan if we can't keep Richaun for whatever reason, and we're scrambling. Like, I'd be happy with Nerlens Noel as like a really quick fix. Like, okay, at least we got someone who's like decently good, and it's not just whoever. Who do we even have? I don't know. The second rounders, but
yeah.
Whiteside.
Oh God, never again. Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't be happy to lose Holmes for nothing or whatever, but like
I'd
that
be
would actually like
pissed.
really piss me off a lot. So because they need to keep him. You're not going to find anyone better than him. I think bigs, like seeing what happened like with Rudy Gobert and stuff in the postseason and just getting freaking exposed like in the perimeter and stuff just shows the importance that like Richaun brings, because he's able to kind of stay in front of guys on the perimeter as a big, and he can still be a decent shot blocker and all that kind of stuff. So like I would love to keep him, and I think he's a great kind of modern big. So he's going to be better than anybody else. But yeah, Nerlens Noel would be cool
It's fine.
as a
You're not like
placeholder.
mad about it. You're more mad about losing Rashawn than
Yeah, I'd be pissed
than
about
getting
that. But
thin.
if that happens, then I would rather have him than a lot of other
Yeah.
bigs and shit like that.
Noel's
So,
only 27. He's not that old, not that young. He's like, yeah. Anyway.
yeah.
And then this isn't a rumor, but it was a proposal on the King's Herald. Tim Maxwell wrote about how the Kings could get Lonzo Ball. We've talked about this a little bit before. And there's a little bit of weirdness with how that would work in a sign-in trade, because since Lonzo Ball would be a restricted free agent, there's what do you call it? The rules for re-signing people is a little different. So this is what he says. For the team signing the player, in this case, the Kings, Ball's salary would count as whatever he was signed for, which I'm guessing would be like $18 million or something like that. However, for the Pelicans, his salary would only count for 50% of his new salary or his previous season salary, whichever is greater. Those restrictions greatly complicate what would normally be a basic transaction. So it would count as 18 million for us, but only like 9 million for them, if I'm understanding that correctly. Alvin, is that right?
As far as I know, yeah. I think
Yeah,
you're
okay.
getting it right.
I don't really know what the reasoning behind that rule is, but that's just how it is. So for that reason, you have to horse trade a little bit differently. So this is what their proposal was. They had two trades. The first one is Lonzo Ball at $18 million. Steven Adams, who's making 17 million, and then Kings favorite Wenyen Gabriel for 1.7 million as a little throw in, and we would give them Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. I would do this trade if we lost Richaun Holmes to get a center and Steven Adams, and obviously Lonzo Ball's cool too. How do you guys feel about that one?
I agree with that. I kind of feel that way too. I think Steven Adams would be, at least he gives you a big body and someone who knows his role, someone who can give you an anchor to some extent on the defense. I don't know how defensively how good he is compared to how he was before. I haven't really seen a ton of him this last year or so. So
he looks like he's slowed down a little bit.
That's kind of what I figured.
He's been worn down from playing just so much and so hard.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured. But I mean, it's better than probably a lot of other people. And I think he's got this year and next year left on his contract. So.
It's a 2-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 2-year extension with the Pelicans for $17 million each year.
Yeah.
So I think it's still an overpay, but it's certainly not as much as he was getting with OKC. That max contract is ridiculous.
Yeah. But I really, really like Lonzo, and I've kind of been feeling it for a while as far as like how cool he would be on this team. I think it's possible that you could run a 3-guard lineup with him because he's like 6'6", like he's got good size.
So that was my question.
Yeah.
Before we get to the next version of this trade, my question was, is he too good to be a sixth man? And is he too small to be a starting small forward next to Fox and Halliburton? I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sold on his fit on this team. Not his talent, just his fit.
I don't think he's a 3. I don't think you start him at the 3. I don't think he's reliably at the 3. I think you can play him there in small lineups. But overall, I don't think he's the thing. So you would pay him 18 million a year to come off the bench, essentially.
That seems a little too rich.
Yeah, or he would start next to Fox, and he'd have Halliburton off the bench too. He proved to be a great person to anchor the second unit, which is fine. I am not so hot on Steven Adams right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of a bit more intrigued by the second trade option.
I'll go ahead and read that one.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball at $18 million a year, and Jackson Hayes, who's making 5.3 for Marvin Bagley and DeLon Wright. I don't think there's any way in hell that the Pelicans do this without picks attached.
Oh, I forgot that DeLon Wright's part of it. Never mind. Never mind.
What's your problem with it?
I was intrigued by like getting Jackson Hayes because there is some potential there as like a cool like rim running, shot blocking big or whatever, and he's still so young. But I feel like DeLon Wright gives us a lot, and he would be half the price of Lonzo. He gives us a lot of the same kind of stuff, not as good, but similar stuff, minus the 3-point shooting.
I was going to say Lonzo's a much better shooter than DeLon, right? I think, again, I would do this if we lost Richaun Holmes. Be like, hey, we need to find a center. Jackson Hayes is interesting. He's young. He's got some really good potential. Definitely wouldn't hate having Lonzo Ball. I'd still don't. Well, and Lonzo would have to sign. He would have to want to come to Sacramento. That's the problem. So you'd have to tell him, you are going to be our sixth man or you're going to be our starter. So I don't think he comes here unless he's starting next to Fox.
Yeah, because he's probably going to get opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
In other big markets to be a starting point guard.
Yeah. And the only other reason he would come here is for the money too, right? Which I'm just not comfortable paying him more than 18 million a year. Like,
yeah. And the reason that the what's his name? Tim Maxwell wrote about this is because the rumor is that the Pelicans don't want to match an offer for Lonzo Ball if it's too big. They didn't say what that number would be, but I'm assuming anywhere around 20 million, they're going to be like, nah, we're good. So I think there could be teams like the Knicks who have cap space who need a point guard who might go for him, or I don't know who else.
I would think like New York or like Chicago or one of those teams is going to.
Chicago would be a really good one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to see Ball next to Levine.
That would be really crazy backcourt.
That'd be a really fun backcourt. Really fun dynamic backcourt.
Yeah.
I don't know if this. I know that this wasn't on the docket for trades. I wonder what it would take for us to get Christian Wood out of Houston.
I've been thinking about that, man.
Yeah,
because he's.
I'm wondering. Okay, so I think I've got an idea. Okay, Christian Wood and the 24th pick in the draft for Marvin Bagley, the 9th pick, a 2023 first round pick, and I'd even do like a lottery protected 2023 or 2025 pick too. So essentially 3 first round picks plus Bagley for Christian Wood and a first round pick this year. I would do it in a heartbeat.
He's got 2 years left on his contract, right? At like 13 million.
2 years left on. Yep. We'll have his bird rights at the end of the contract also.
Oh, real? Oh, so you could sign him over the tax without paying it. Question: is he a stretch 4? I don't remember.
He's a 5.
Can he shoot
5?
He's a 5.
Yeah.
He can shoot the 3 very well.
I think that's a big reason why there's so many mock drafts with Jalen Green going too, because they already have Christian Wood. But I mean, they could easily be like, yeah, sure, we'll trade you Christian Wood since we're going to get Evan Mobley now at number 2. Like, that would be so. I would do that in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Yeah.
His contract,
especially if we lose Richaun, that's another avenue to get somebody.
Yeah. So he's more or less like the last 2 years, he's been more or less an automatic 20 and 10, and he's been shooting well above league average from 3. Also a outstanding rim runner, athletic, moves around well, very driven. That's the thing that I like. He's got a motor. He's driven. He knows what he's doing.
Chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, big time.
Damn,
dude.
Because he got cut like half a dozen times in the G League. And
his
kept bringing him back.
His girlfriend broke up with him when he didn't get drafted. That dude's got a gnarly chip on his shoulder, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I would, if we could do that, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because the other thing is that if I am like, let's get into the draft in a second. I think we'll have to. But if I am Houston, I 100 times out of 100 am taking Evan Mobley.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean I think that makes sense for both sides. I think both sides can win on that one because we get with the 24th pick, there's still plenty of guys in that range in this draft because there's such a like long range from like 8 to somewhere in the 20s of guys who are all kind of in that same tier. So I would be totally cool with that. I think we can still get a really good player at 24.
And bear in mind that like Houston has the 23rd pick or 22nd pick, the pick right before. So we would get the later pick. Right. So they're upgrading their first round pick this year, more or less. And then they're getting picks in the future. And then they're just betting on the Kings not being very good, which is a safe bet, frankly. So
sure.
Wait, so you said it was Bagley in the 9th for Wood. Would it be Wood and their 2 late first round picks?
Just one.
No. So Bagley the 9th and 2 lottery protected firsts. So 3 first round picks plus Bagley for Christian Wood and their 23rd overall pick this year.
But the 2 futures are lottery protected.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 future first.
Christian Wood is not an all-star.
He's borderline.
He's good, but he's not.
He's borderline.
He's borderline.
Borderline. I mean, he's like Jeremy Grant, right? They're like right there.
I'd take him over Jeremy Grant, but but he's on a similar plane. Yeah.
Yeah, like you give up maybe 1 or 2 picks, depending on how good they are. 3 is like,
yeah, because I think if you trade your 9th for the 24th and then you give them 1 more first on top of that, I think that's fair. Even if it was 2, I would still do it because they're lottery protected. So I'd be like, all right, sure, whatever. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Right. It can be 15 at the lowest.
Yeah. Like, yeah, sure.
And you'd still have Buddy Hield as a trade piece and Harrison Barnes, which you would have to trade them to make, because Christian Wood's making some cash this year. So
he's only making $2 million more than Marvin Bagley, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's wild. Ooh.
Make it happen, Monty.
Oh man.
That's the trade that I want.
Dude, that would be nuts. I'd be hyped.
Well, after the finals, we can do just all kinds of trade schemes because that'll be trade season. So.
I wish we could like go to the King's office and be like, here, look, here's the trade. Go do it.
Do this.
Like, what are you doing? This is so clear. Go do it.
If only it was that easy.
I wish, man.
And they'd be like, well, you can't do it because of this reason. You're like, oh shit.
Like, well, you're
thought about
stupid nerd.
Dang. Well, we talked a lot about.
That's all the trades I have, boys. Or all the rumors, rather.